everyone, I'm Kevin Nelson. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. The Synod of Bishops with the theme Young People, Faith and Vocational Discernment is taking place in October this year. In preparation, the Vatican is holding a pre-synod from March 19th through the 24th. 300 young people have been invited to this pre-synod. They were chosen to represent national bishops' conferences, the Eastern Catholic churches, men and women in consecrated life, and seminarians preparing for the priesthood. For young people around the world, they will be able to share in this pre-synod meeting by visiting the website and through social media networks. Rome Reports has more on the pre-synod meeting.
Pope Francis has convened a synod in October in which hundreds of bishops will exchange ideas on the church and young people. In preparation, the Vatican has presented an ambitious encounter scheduled for March. The Pope wants the Church to listen to the voice of the youth and thus will join 300 of them from around the world, whether Catholic or not. They will be in Rome from March 19th to 24th and will answer 15 questions to prepare the bishop's working document. In this meeting, issues will come up, suggestions that we will put on a list. Their priorities, their true interests will be seen. The encounter will address issues such as emotional relations, religion's place in their lives, definitive life decision-making, and how to grow as a person. Our hope is that the Synod addresses issues that concern us and produces solutions. We want to speak and be heard. That's already something, for someone to listen to what's inside your heart. If, in addition, that person walks with you, maybe we can find answers. As only 300 young people will come to Rome, and the Vatican seeks a larger sample, the rest of the youth who want to participate can register themselves for a pre-synod virtual meeting. It will take place simultaneously with the encounter in Rome via Facebook groups discussing the 15 questions that will be debated in the Vatican. Their ideas will be included in the final document presented to the Pope, key for the October Synod on Young People, the Faith, and Vocational Discernment. The 15 questions can already be found on the Synod's website, but young people will be able to respond beginning on March 12th.
The gathering will also include young men and women from what many consider the margins of society, particularly young victims of human trafficking and prostitution. In news from around the country, the Vatican has announced that Pope Francis has named 9 new members to the Pontifical Commission for the Protection of Minors. The new members include abuse survivors or the parents of survivors who have chosen not to publicly disclose their experience of abuse, but will do so solely within the Commission. The Pope also reappointed Cardinal Sean O'Malley of Boston to be president of the commission. The terms of the original members had expired in December. Some of the other new members include a former chairman of the UN Committee on the Rights of Children, a religious sister who's a certified counselor and consultant on abuse cases, a judge and former chair of the Australian Catholic Church's Truth, Justice and Healing Council, and a member of the board of directors of the International Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The commission statement said that the renewed commission will meet in April with several people who have experienced abuse before, discussing ways to promote an ongoing dialogue with survivors. Discussions have also been underway to create an international survivor advisory panel. More news from the Vatican. The new ambassador of Korea to the Holy See presented his credentials to Pope Francis. In 2017, Korea and the Holy See celebrated the 70th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations, in particular, the commemoration of the sending of the first permanent apostolic delegate of the Holy See in Korea. Rome Reports has more from the Vatican.
There was no need for Pope Francis to ask the new ambassador from South Korea to keep him in his prayers. Instead, as Backman Lee presented the Holy Father with his credentials, the Korean diplomat assured the Pope of it and took advantage of an opportunity to pray in unison with the Bishop of Rome.
I will pray for your holiness and me. Thank you very much. Gloria al Padre.
Lee presented Pope Francis with this Korean painting of Our Lady Undoer of Knots. The Pope discovered the original image decades ago while studying in Germany and has expressed a special devotion ever since. For his part, the Holy Father presented the ambassador with his 3 main papal documents. A deeply honored Lee expressed his gratitude to Pope Francis before the two held a brief private meeting.
Finally in the news, officials of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops have announced a National Catholic Call-In Day to protect dreamers on February 26. The move comes after the Senate failed to garner the 60 votes needed to move a bill forward to protect the dreamers. The joint statement said that with a March 5th deadline looming, they are asking members of Congress to show the leadership necessary to find a just and humane solution for these young people who will face mounting anxiety and uncertainty. The joint statement was issued by Cardinal Daniel Donato, USCCB President, Archbishop Jose Gomez, USCCB Vice President, and Bishop Joe Vasquez of Austin, Chairman of the USCCB Committee on Migration. The bishops are asking Catholics to call members of Congress on February 26 to protect dreamers from deportation, to provide them a path to citizenship, and to avoid any damage to existing protections for families and unaccompanied minors in the process. The bishop and countless other immigration advocates have urged members of Congress to preserve DACA, or deferred action for childhood arrivals, and protect the program's beneficiaries by passing the Development, Relief, and Education for Alien Minors Act, or DREAM Act, which has long been proposed. Well, that is all the information we have for you at this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV Network.